We have made it to the final week of the NFL regular season. We got a huge show for you today. Let's talk some football. What's going on, everyone? Welcome back in to another episode for Just a Bet Outside. I am your host, Steven, and we are here for one more week of the regular season to talk some NFL football. That's right. I don't know where the time has gone. I remember just starting this season, but we are already here, so it's crazy. I will say this: I would tread with caution this week because there's a lot going on. And we're here to help you. So I'm going to have a page with the trends that are going to give you all the playoff scenarios, and kind of what teams are still playing for something, which ones aren't. Hopefully, it's a good one just to have all in one place. So when you guys are making your bets, you can kind of look it up and see if they are playing for something or anything like that. So we'll talk about that in a little bit, but we're still going to be doing playoff. Don't you worry. We're not done this week with football. We're going to be breaking down all the playoff games, giving out best bets, and going all the way to the Super Bowl. So it's going to be a lot of fun. I apologize, but there will be no NBA video for Thursday. There's only two games, so there's really not a lot out there. But it's almost midnight already as this video is being done, and we just don't have time. We had a busy night, so I will come out with a short and on X and Discord and all that with my best bet, one or two bets for the two games. So, but man, last week was horrible for us in the NFL. We're still having a good year overall, but that was just terrible. We're gonna go over all that, but we are due for a bounce back. I just know it. So no Thursday night football game this week. No Monday night football games. There's two on Saturday, and all the rest are on Sunday. Now, before we dive into the video and all the info I have to give to you for this one, if you want to become a Jabbo MVP, hit that link below. It's in the description. $2.99 a month. If we have brought any value to you during the football season or NBA, we also do MLB all summer long. Hit that like or hit that join button. Really helps the channel grow, helps support us and keep this channel growing as we near 20,000 subscribers. Just absolutely bonkers. This football season has been a ton of fun. I appreciate all the support out there. Glad we've had a profitable year for you guys. I want more. The last 2 weeks kind of dinged us down a little bit, but we're here to bounce back. We want to end on a good week. So now in this video, like I said, we got a lot. We're going to recap week 17 because we didn't have our Sunday night recap video due to the holidays, but it was disgusting. But we're going to talk about it, and I'm going to be transparent. And then we're going to talk playoff scenarios, go through all the teams. It's going to be quick. I won't be giving you every single detail of every team, but it'll help give you guys some ideas what's going on. And then the week 18 trends. If you've been following those all year long, they went 10-4 last week. They are now 115-81 on the year. Just been pretty awesome. It's a pretty cool thing just to see those trends come through. NFL probably is the one sport where trends matter the most. We'll see. I don't know. And then NFL Week 18 best bets. I got three of them for you. And then I have a trends parlay for you to end the year off, and it's over plus 600. I got a juicy one for you. And then we finish it with the head-to-head bet between me and Ryan. I'm absolutely putting a beat down on him, and I let him know every day too. So, but that'll be fun to end on a head-to-head bet, and then we'll wrap it all up with the bets recap. Hit that like button, leave a comment below, help this channel grow, help more people on YouTube see these videos. Let's get to 20,000 subscribers here in the next week or two. That would be absolutely incredible. So, thanks again, everyone, for all the support during the football season. But let's get into it, and it starts with the Week 17 recap. All right, let's get into it. For those of you that are new to the channel and you see this, you probably think I'm absolutely horrendous at betting football. It's been a profitable year, but my goodness, last week sucked. Let's go through it real quick. 6-point teaser, Cleveland and KC, that one hit. We've been pretty good on teasers this year. And then over 53 Lions Cowboys. That was a weird game on Saturday. We lost three bets for that one game. It was absolutely ugly. There was a touchdown turned into a touchback, and there was just a bunch of things happen. Not a lot of points, just bad read on my end. I thought there'd be some points in that game. And then Seahawks money line under 51.5. Congratulations, you Steeler fans. I know all the comments. I see it. Congratulations. Seahawks absolutely sucked, and you guys kicked our butt. So that was a loss. Ryan's bets hits another one, three in a row. Bears -3. We both love that one at -110. That was an easy winner. And the trends parlay was oh so close to hitting again. The Rams -5.5 was the only loss. They blew it at the end and only won by 1 point. The other two did hit though. Player props, where I have been the most profitable this year, absolutely shit the bed. Jameer Gibbs over 49.5. This is where it gets crazy, guys. He got over 49.5, and then he got called back on a holding penalty and just never got over again. It was just ugly. He should have got there. Like I said, that Lions Cowboys game was all around just terrible for us. Travis Kelsey, just a bad read on my end. Over 63.5. It's my fault for thinking he was still a good football player. That's my bad. You just keep dating Taylor Swift and keep struggling. My freaking goodness, that was ugly. That's my fault. Brandon Aubrey over 2.5 PATs. Well, he would have hit three if they would have actually scored a touchdown and not got a touchback on one of them because he did hit two. But I don't believe McLaughlin had two anyways. I think they went for two instead of kicking an extra point on their second touchdown. So that would have been blown anyways. DeAndre Swift ladder is a total of a unit. Over 66.5 rushing yards. This is the first time this year it's happened, guys, but this one is kind of like an NBA thing. I lost that bet due to time of possession. I mean, the Eagles, it was unreal. Going into their last drive with like a minute and a half left in the first half, they had run 12 plays. 12. Their time of possession was about a third of what the Cardinals had. The Cardinals had the ball the entire freaking game. DeAndre Swift didn't get many opportunities, as well as all the other Eagles offense. It was just that kind of game. If he got his normal amount of carries and they had the same amount of possessions, he would have went over this. You could tell he actually got close to this already, the over 66.5, even with barely touching the ball or touching the field. But it is what it is. That's sports betting. So 0-4, terrible day. And then anytime touchdowns, we did hit Justin Fields anytime touchdown for plus 200. We took a shot on DJ Chark, but their offense was terrible. That's why he's plus 500. And I don't think even got into the end zone. If they did, it was only one time. But that's the Week 17 bets recap. I didn't want to get on and talk to you about this at all. I wanted to skip it, but of course we don't do that. So Week 17, 3-7, down 4.21 units. Now let's talk about the good though. Let's go to the next page. Check out the overall record. My game bets up 7.08 units this year at 37-28. Ryan 7-9, down 2.47, making a comeback. He will not have a best bet this week. He's been busy and all that, but he will do the head-to-head with me. So anytime touchdown bets, 14-19, down 0.98. We started off slow, but we've been picking it up a little bit, so we're almost back to even. And the player props, even after losing almost 4.5 units, we're still up 5.71. The Trends Parlay. I wish this was official. I should have made it official. Maybe next year. But Trends Parlay 3-9, up 7.16 units now. And we are now up 9.21 units on the year. I wanted more, but you know what? Being profitable, up 9 units, you can't complain. NFL can be tough. But 96 and 88, up 9.21. Hopefully we can maybe sweep the board, get close to 15 units, and maybe climb up to 20 as the playoffs come. We'll see. But anyways, that's the bets recap for Week 17 and the season overall record. Now let's talk some playoff scenarios and Week 18 trends. All right, we got a lot to unpack here. These are the Week 18 playoff scenarios. Like I said, I didn't break down every single team, but hopefully this kind of helps you out. So first, we just start with the playoff teams with nothing to play for. That's the two number one seeds. Ravens and 49ers are locked into the number one seeds in their conference. And then teams locked into a playoff spot and seeding, Browns and Chiefs are playing for absolutely nothing. I think they're resting a lot of their starters. Locked into the 5 seed for the Browns and 3 seed for the Chiefs. Now, teams that have to win in Week 18 just to even have a chance to make the playoffs, there they are. I don't need to say all of them, but a lot of those, if they lose, they're out. So that's what that situation is, just to kind of give you guys an idea. And then the teams that want to win but don't have to win. So I broke this down a little bit more. Cowboys, if they win, they get the 2 seed. Simple as that. They're playing at the Commanders. Eagles, they need to win and have the Dallas Cowboys lose to get the number 2 seed because they blew it last week against the Cardinals. And then the Lions, they are kind of playing for something still. If they win, then they need Dallas and Philly to both lose to get the number 2 seed. Obviously, not likely, but the Lions want to win. We'll talk more about that game. And then the Rams, if they win, they get the 6th seed. A loss and a Green Bay win moves the Rams to the 7th seed. So, I mean, they're kind of playing for something, but it's really only 6 or 7 seed. I just check that out before game time to see who's playing, who's not. McVay is a guy who likes to rest starters. He doesn't play anybody in the preseason, not even a snap. So, anyways, just something to check out. They could win if they want to, but it's up to them. And then the Dolphins, if they win, they get the 2 seed. I don't exactly know what happens with a loss, but I do know they're in the playoffs already. But they are playing for the AFC East. And that takes me over to the right side. This is all about one team because I had to talk about this. The Bills and Dolphins are playing on Sunday Night Football, the last game of the regular season for the AFC East crown. And here's the Bills playoff scenarios. They win, they get the number 2 seed and win the AFC East yet again after a slow start, slow middle of the season. But here's the thing. If they lose that game against the Dolphins and the Pittsburgh Steelers and the Jacksonville Jaguars both win, they're both favorites in their game, the Bills are eliminated and they don't even make the playoffs. That's how crazy this could be. The Bills could be the number 2 seed in the conference or get absolutely eliminated from the playoffs. or they could clinch a playoff spot if either Pittsburgh or Jacksonville lose. So if the Bills lose and one of those two teams lose, they still get a playoff spot. Obviously, not the 2 seed because they won't be the division winner. So they got to win to get the number 2 seed. So that's the Bills playoff scenarios. Everyone else, take a screenshot. Hopefully, this kind of helps you guys out. At least something to refer to when you guys are looking at what bets or what games you guys want to bet. Like I said, it's more quality over quantity this week. It is just absolutely wild and crazy. But yeah, that's the Week 18 playoff scenario. Now let's get into the Week 18 trends. There's less of them because I didn't include some trends that included teams that don't care and aren't even playing the starters because I don't think those trends really matter. So I didn't want to kind of confuse you guys too much. There's some 49ers ones and things like that, but I mean McCaffrey, all those guys aren't playing, so kind of pointless. But Dolphins number one at 12-4 to the first half over. First half over in that Bills Dolphins game is 25.5. Robert Saleh, the Jets head coach, 0-5 straight up and against the spread versus the Patriots. He has yet to beat them. Patriots -1.5. Texans gone under the first half total in all 7 road games. 23.5 is the first half total there. Titans under the game total in 15 of the last 20. That total is 40 points. And then Broncos, NFL best, 13-3 against the spread in the first quarter. Denver is plus 0.5. Obviously, that one's tricky because it's not Russell Wilson at quarterback this time. Cowboys, 10-4 last 14 games as a road favorite. They are a whopping -13 against the division rival, the Commanders. And then we got the Giants, 18-10-1 against the spread, the number one team against the spread as an underdog since last season. Um, I mean, that's pretty impressive. They've been an underdog a lot, obviously, 29 times since last season. Giants are +5 this week. Lions 7-0 against the spread. Last 7 games following a loss. We've been talking about this all season long. The Lions are a -3.5 right now. And then Packers 9-0 against the spread. Last 9 games versus the Bears. That is pretty impressive. But we're going to talk about that game, and you'll see what side I'm on later. And then the Saints 3-10-1 against the spread after a win since the start of last season. They don't win 2 games very often in a row. If you tail that trend, obviously that means you're taking the Atlanta Falcons +3. But we all know the Falcons do struggle on the road a little bit. So last 2, next page. We got the Bucks 7-1 ATS on the road this season. That is pretty impressive. If you followed that one, you take Tampa Bay -4.5. And then the final one, every single Cardinals home game has gone over the total this season at 48 points this week against my Seattle Seahawks. So that's what we got. Trends 115-81 on the season. And yes, my Seahawks are still alive, by the way. They need to win, and they need Green Bay to lose to have a chance or to make the playoffs. We will see what happens. But man, we are not playing very well. So that's the Week 18 trends. We don't have a Thursday night football game to talk about, so it's time to talk some best bets. All right, bet number 1 takes us out to the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field. We got the Green Bay Packers hosting the Bears. The Packers -3, over under 44.5. Against the spread this year, Bears 8-6-2 ATS, 4-4 ATS on the road. Packers 8-80 ATS, 4-3 at home. Over under Bears 9-7 to the over. Packers 10-6 to the over. So nothing huge in any of that. But I'm going to get right into it. And my best bet, I am bucking that trend we talked about earlier. Give me the Chicago Bears +3 at -110 on DraftKings. Now we all know the Packers need to win to get into the playoffs. The Bears are eliminated, but they have also already locked up the number 1 seed. So it's a very unique situation. This is not a team playing for a draft pick or anything like that. They have the number 1 pick in the NFL draft come April. That's right, because the Carolina Panthers gave it to them with that huge trade so the Panthers could get superstar Bryce Young. Just joking. But anyways, the Bears are just in a great spot. And I think the Bears come out and play loose in this game. This is one of those instances that I've learned over the years where I used to bet on a team because they had to win. They're going to try harder. Well, you know what? That doesn't always work that way. Sometimes it's also more pressure and they're a little tighter how they play. I think the Bears come out loose. I think this head coach wants to finish on a high note. They've been playing well. I think Justin Fields is trying to save his spot for the team next year. And if it's not this team next year, it's for another team. So I just think this team comes out ready to play. And they've been one of the better teams in the NFL. I can't believe I'm saying this. They were so bad earlier this year, but they have been pretty freaking impressive. I think the coach has done a great job there. But here's the last 6 games, just so in case you don't know. The Bears have beat the Falcons by 20, beat the Cardinals by 11, lost to the Browns in Cleveland in a very close game by 3 points. They beat the Lions by 15. We know because we were on the Bears in that game. They beat the Vikings by 2, and then they lost to the Lions by 5. But if you remember that game, they were ahead the entire game. It was a miracle comeback by the Lions. This team is competing right now. It is pretty impressive every single game. And a big reason is because they control the run game. They are the number one run defense in the NFL right now. They've been getting more pressure on the quarterback. Adding Montez Sweat has helped. Those linebackers have played a lot better. It's just really helped the entire team. They got great corners. It's crazy to think about because this is one of the worst defenses in the league to start out. But they made some good adjustments. And I just think when you have a good defense like this, you don't usually get blown out. So, I mean, if anything, if they lose, I think it will be a 3-point game. At worst, it's a push. But it's a bad matchup for the Packers, I think. Bears, second most rushing yards per game at 145.3. Obviously, a lot of that is also Justin Fields, but that's part of it. Packers 28th in run defense. I've said this before. They have Swiss cheese run defense. There's just holes everywhere. They've given up 131.6 yards per game in the rushing attack for the opponents this year. And don't get confused by the Packers win on primetime. Remember, a team is never as good as their best win and never as bad as their worst loss. That's just what I go by. And yes, the Packers look good on primetime against the Vikings, but the Vikings are horrible right now on offense. They don't know what quarterback they want to start. They keep going back and forth. It's just not pretty. The Packers played well. You give them credit. That was a good game. But don't forget, before that game, this is still a Packers team that beat the Panthers barely by 3, lost to the Buccaneers by 14, and lost to the Giants by 2. I mean, this Packers team has been very inconsistent, to say the least. I will say that. And I just think it's a huge advantage when the Bears can control the run game on both sides, run defense, run offense. Justin Fields with his legs. I just like how they're playing. They're playing with confidence. And like I said, they're going to be playing loose. Jordan Love in this team, I don't know if they've played a lot of tough game, or this is pretty much a playoff game. And I don't know if he can step up in the spotlight or what he's going to do. But it's going to be a tough game against a tough Bears defense. So give me the Bears +3 as my first best bet. Maybe a little sprinkle on the money line because this Bears team is playing really well. We got a winner last week when Ryan gave out Bears -3, and they put a beat down, I think, on the Falcons. It was so. Anyways, that's my first best bet of Week 18. And before we get to bet number 2, let's check out the free square with Thrive. All right, there it is. Tyreek Hill over a half of receiving yard is the free square with Thrive Fantasy. They are eligible in over 30 states, and you get a 100% first deposit match all the way up to $250. It is a great deal. All you have to do is use that promo code JABO to get it. And then they also give you this free square to start your first parlay. You do not have to spend all $250 on your first parlay, but they give you Tyreek Hill. You add it to another leg. You can make a 2-leg, 3, 4, or 5. And there's the payouts right there. It's a great way to start, guys. You can get $250 money added to your account by matching, and then you get part of your first parlay. So it's a great deal. Again, eligible in over 30 states, but you have to use the promo code JABO to get it. So that's what we got. Now back to the bets. All right, this second bet is an alt team total parlay. We've done a few of these this year. Here we go. Give me the Texans and the Lions team total over 19.5 each. That's at -125 on DraftKings. What that means is I need both teams to just score 20 or more points. This is not the same game. These are two different games. Let's start with the Texans team total over 19.5. It's a huge game. We all know this. Saturday Night Football. This is my bet. The Texans against the Colts. If I had to lean aside, I am taking the Texans in this one, even though it's in Indianapolis. Loser out, winner in the playoffs with still a chance to win the AFC South. Now, the Texans averaging 22.1 points per game this season, 10th in the NFL. These two teams played all the way back in September. Colts won a weird game, 31-20. It was just kind of some turnovers and things like that. But Texans still had almost 400 yards that game. But again, that's week 2. It doesn't really matter that much. I just wanted to point that out. But Colts have given up the 6th most points per game this year at 24.5. And then you think, well, they're at home. Maybe they play better. They've actually given up the 4th most points per game at home at 25.8 this year. Texans, all we need is 20 or more. They have scored 20-plus points in 13 of 16 games this season. One of those 3 they didn't was when Stroud wasn't even playing because he was hurt. So, we're talking a pretty good percentage right there just to hit 20 points. Here's a matchup I like. Singletary is playing well for this team. He's helped their running game a little bit because they've been little lackluster parts this year. But I think he has a good day. Colts 27th in the NFL versus the run at 127.8 yards per game. Singletary, like I said, he's been playing well. 16 carries for 80 yards last week, then 9 for 44, 26 for 121, and 13 for 65, or his last 4 weeks. We're talking yards per carry, 5, 4.9, 4.7, and 5 in those 4 games. So I think he can really help. They can kind of control the clock a little bit, really help set up some play action. And if Stroud has a running game, and then you've seen what Stroud can do with Nico Collins and these boys, I think they should easily get to 20 plus points. I don't want to trust the Texans defense, so I'm just going to take the team total. I think the original line is 23.5 for this team, might be 24.5. I'm taking it down to over 19.5, so just need 20. That's the first leg. Second leg, the Detroit Lions, team total over 19.5. I almost made the Lions minus 3.5 as my best bet, just so you guys know. The Lions team is they're pissed off. They're fired up. You guys all know what happened with that 2-point conversion and a guy not reporting to the referee, apparently. And so they're pissed off. You saw Dan Campbell after. I think he said he had controlled fury. Um, they don't want to end the season like that. Again, they still have a chance to move up to a 2 seed. It's kind of a longer shot, but I don't think they're a team that has a chance. What if it all works out and they're the team that loses because they don't play their starters? Dan Campbell has come out and said that the starters will be playing, and he reiterated it every single day so far. We have to believe him right now. But Lions somewhat playing for seeding, like I mentioned, but it's weird. I know coaches lie. I actually believe him. I do believe Dan Campbell. I don't think he's full of BS. I think the starters are going to come out and play because they are kind of playing for something. You do not want to head into the playoffs on 2 straight losses. You just don't want to do it. Now, offensively, we know the Lions are good at home. They've scored the 5th most points at home this season at 30.1. All we need is 20, and they've scored 30 a game. They have scored 20 plus points in every single home game. That's right, all 7 home games, they have already hit this. Vikings are kind of falling apart, especially offensively. Mullins is apparently going to be back at quarterback. But a bad Vikings offense can really help, because what that means is maybe better field position for the Lions, and it also means maybe more possessions for the Lions if the Vikings are not scoring or moving the ball very much. So that also helps. But Lions just played the Vikings a couple weeks ago, put up 30 in Minnesota. I think they come out hot. They come out pissed off, put up quite a bit of points here, and there's a chance to get a defensive touchdown. Nick Mullins and these Vikings quarterbacks haven't exactly been playing well, like I mentioned. And then you got the Vikings. They are a bottom 5 defense on third down. Lions are the 7th best offense on third down, so that's a big advantage for them, especially at home. So I think the Lions put up 20 easily. I wouldn't be shocked if they put up 30, to be honest with you. But as long as they play all their starters the entire 4 quarters, but I think they will. So give me the Texans to score 20 plus and the Lions to score 20 plus points as my bet number 2. And let's move on to bet number 3. All right, this next one takes us out to Viva Las Vegas, baby. We got the Raiders hosting the Denver Broncos in what's supposed to be a barn burner. Raiders minus 2.5, over under 38.5. Against the spread, Broncos 6-9-1 ATS, 2-4-1 ATS on the road. Raiders 9-6-1 ATS, 5-2-1 ATS at home. So they've been pretty good at home. Over under, Broncos 9-7 to the under, and the Raiders tied for the biggest under team in the league at 11-5 to the under. I'm not going to talk any more about those stats. I'm just going to go right into my best bet, and it's the under 38.5 at minus 110. The quarterback matchup here is Aiden O'Connell versus Jared Stidham. I repeat, Aiden O'Connell versus Jared freaking Stidham. This total should be a little bit lower, in my opinion. The Raiders are still playing hard on defense for Antonio Pierce. The Broncos are an absolute mess offensively after benching Russell Wilson just to make sure they can cut him in March. It is a weird situation. We've talked about it before. I have bashed Russell Wilson over and over because he became a prima donna. I wanted to get out of Seattle, my favorite team. Um, and you know what? I'm you get what you get. I am starting to slowly feel sorry for him. It's kind of tough what the Broncos are doing just to bench him, just so they can cut him and save money and all that kind of stuff. Kind of shady what's going on over there with Sean Payton. But Broncos, they put up 16 points last week versus a bad Chargers defense with Jared Stidham at quarterback. The game ended 16-9. These two teams' strengths we know is going to be on the defensive side of the ball. It's a divisional game, which usually tends to lean under. Teams know each other a little bit more. To add to that, Cortland Sutton may be out for this game with a concussion. He's questionable right now for the Denver Broncos, their best receiver. So, I mean, lack of weapons, no Cortland Sutton. I just don't see how this game nears 40 points, to be honest. Broncos are 17th in the league in points scored at 21.4, but obviously they are worse than that now with Jared Stidham at quarterback. Stidham. Anyways, Raiders 25th in the league in points at 19.1, and worse with Aiden O'Connell probably too. I just think it's going to be a very ugly, boring defensive game with a lot of punts. And the only thing that I think that could really hurt this is a pick six or some sort of punt return touchdown or things like that, which could happen. It's bad quarterbacks, and so that is something to worry about. But give me the under 38.5, and don't even think about watching this game on Sunday. It is going to be ugly. But that is my third and final bet. Let's move on to that trends parlay. All right, we got a big one to end the season on the trends parlay. Here we go. Lions minus 3.5, over 48 in the Seahawks and Cardinals game, and Giants +5. Give me +617 on DraftKings. Probably the biggest one we put out there. Man, this would be a nice little winner. So here we go. I'm just going to briefly touch on each one, not go into super detail, but Lions minus 3.5 is the first leg. The trend here we're following: Lions 7-0 ATS after a loss. They're pissed off, like I mentioned. We already talked about this game. If they do play their starters the whole game, which I think they will, I think they put an absolute beat down on the Vikings, to be honest with you. They wanted to head into the playoffs on the right note. So give me the Lions minus 3.5. We've talked enough about that game, I think. Over 48 Seahawks Cardinals. The trend we are following: the Cardinals games have gone over in every single home game for the Cardinals this season. Obviously, this game is in Arizona. The Seahawks and Cardinals both have a minor issue. It's a minor one. I think they'll work it out. It's just stopping the whole other team from scoring. They just can't do it. They're just incapable of it. The Seahawks just made that Steelers offense look like the greatest show on turf. It was one of the worst defensive performances I've seen out of the Seahawks in a very long time. And yes, I miss the Legion of Boom. Oh man, do I miss them. But Cardinals offense, they've looked much better with Kyler at quarterback, obviously. If you just look at two of these teams defensively, Seahawks 24th in points allowed, Cardinals 31st. They also are 30th and 32nd, these two teams, in stopping the run. It's just ugly, guys. I don't see many punts in this game. Obviously, good weather there in Arizona. Give me the over 48 as the second leg. Third leg, Giants +5. Trend is Giants are 18, 10, and 1 against the spread as an underdog since the start of last season. That is the number one team in the league against the spread as an underdog. This one is a little yucky. I'm not going to lie. Taking the Giants under a touchdown is always going to not feel great. But the Eagles also don't look very good. I mean, they did just lose to the Cardinals at home last week, guys. They have some problems. And divisional games, you always know that they tend to be a little closer because teams know each other kind of well. The Giants almost beat Philly, and they competed with them on Christmas in Philadelphia. I think the Giants want to finish strong. This is a big game for them. Play spoiler a little bit. Obviously, they can't knock the Eagles out of the playoffs or anything, but maybe hurt their seeding. And it's their division rival. I mean, Giants fans, Giants teams, they get up when they play the Eagles. These games mean something to them. And like I mentioned many times before, no one wants to end the season with a loss. It just gives you a bad taste in your mouth all off season. I think the Giants compete here, keep it close. I just need them to stay within 5. And that's the third leg of the Trends Parlay. And now it's time for the head-to-head bet. All right, we bring you the final regular season head-to-head bet between me and Ryan. If you have not been around since the beginning, I was like 1-3, and it was ugly. I am now 10-5. I'm not here to brag. I'm just here to point out facts. I just spit facts. That's all I do. 10-5. Ryan is trying to just do what most teams don't want to do, which is to lose the last game of the season. He wants me to feel that pain, and it's not going to happen. We are going to be betting the game of the week, the game of the year. It's for all the marbles. Sunday night football. I'm not being a smartass. It actually is between the Bills and the Dolphins in Miami. And if you followed us already, you know which team is on which guy is on which team, because Ryan has died on the Dolphins hill already. Give me the Bills -3. Ryan has the Dolphins +3. Ryan, explain yourself, sir.
I don't know if I can. I just, these Dolphins have to figure out a way to win at home. Like, I've backed them a couple different times already, a few different times this season. Last season, I think I backed them at everything, and they've let me down every single time. This is it. This has to be it. Final game of the season. Show what you're worth, and you're at home to get a 2 seed and have home playoff games. Everything you absolutely need is in your hands. You better not frickin' lose it to the frickin' Buffalo Bills, who I've like kind of dogged this entire season. Not entire season, but like, they are not for real. This is why. And here they are at the very end of the season with a chance and hope to prove me wrong somehow. But this is it. I am riding and dying with the freaking Miami Dolphins and those boys. So let's do it. Come on, Dolphins.
Again, I have some things to say. He's right about all that. Team Steven, by the way, with a PH, Team Ryan, LOSER. Listen, the Bills already shellacked this Dolphins team. We know the Dolphins, what they do, and I'm going to explain this, what they do against good teams in a second. But the Dolphins are hurting right now. No Bradley Chubb, maybe no Xavier Howard, their top corner. I mean, guys, they're just not playing well. This is not the time of the year they want to be playing like this. But the Dolphins struggle versus good teams. Have I said that enough this year? My goodness. They have just been a cash cow for me, fading them against good teams. Here's what they've done against good teams this year. They lost 56-19 against the Ravens. The only game they won was 22-20 against the Cowboys on a game-winning field goal. I had them in that game. Um, but again, that's the Cowboys, who also suck versus good teams. They've shown that all year also. They lost 21-14 versus the Chiefs. 31-17 versus the Eagles, and 48-20 against this same Bills team. I mean, guys, they haven't been doing much. I mean, offensively, we're talking, this is what they've done offensively: 19, 22, 14, 17, 20. This is supposed to be the greatest offense in the league or a top three. Not a freaking chance against good teams. I know the Bills defense plays better at home. But guys, this team, it's they've been in this situation before. This is a new feel for the Miami Dolphins. This is the Bills division to lose. But like Ryan said, if the Dolphins want to take over this decision or division, have the Bills hand the torch over, they gotta take care of business at home here. I don't think they do. I don't like how they're playing. I think they're too injured. I think Josh Allen and the boys come through in this one. Give me the Bills -3 to end at 11-5 on the season. What do you think?
I can't really disagree with you with everything you have as far as the injuries and those things. It's just like I said, this is the team I've been writing, and I've been opposing or I've been the opposite for the Bills, and I can't back off that hill now and whatnot. And final game of the season, and I just got they're gonna prove me right. Finally, this is it. This has to be it.
It has to be. And it's going to start with Devon Achan, I think. They got to run the ball well against this Buffalo Bills team. He's an explosive running back. Can they get the job done? I don't know. Can they stop the Bills offense without Chubb, without Xavier Howard? We've seen it before. When they're healthy defense, they're good defense. But right now, they are not healthy. Already missing Phillips still. So we're gonna find out. It's the game of the week. We got a head-to-head bet on it. It's the final game of the regular season. It's for the AFC East. It's a humongous freaking game. If you are on my side, put Team Steven in the comments. If you like Team Ryan, put Team LOSER. Ryan, it's been a fun year on some head-to-head bets. I thought it was going to get ugly there for me for a while, but I have made a comeback. So I do appreciate you letting me win.
Oh yes, it was all letting you win. I mean, I was having so much fun at the beginning of the season. These last few weeks have just been miserable for me, and you'd let me know it every single day, and it's brutal. I can't stand it.
Yep. Nope. Joe Flacco approves. But that's the head-to-head bet and our show. Let's check out the bets recap. There is the Week 18 Best Bets card. If you were looking for player props, that video will be out Friday night like usual. But we got the Chicago Bears +3 playing spoiler to the Green Bay Packers in Lambeau Field at -110. The team total parlay alternate, obviously. Texans team total and the Lions team total both over 19.5 points. You get that at -125 on DraftKings. And then the snoozer, the under 38.5 Broncos and Raiders -110 on FanDuel. Then the trends parlay, already profitable, and we will be very profitable on it no matter what, but this would be huge. Lions -3.5, over 48, Seattle, Arizona, Giants +5.5. All the trends are earlier in this video if you missed them and just like to fast forward to the best bets. Head-to-head bet, I got the Bills -3. Ryan has the Dolphins -3. I am 10-5. Ryan is 5-10. He's looking to just play spoiler in the last week of the season. So those are the Week 18 best bets and our show. Thank you everyone for all the support. Just a reminder, no NBA long video for the Thursday games. I'll have a short out. We'll be talking some basketball on Discord, Twitter, things like that. It's only 2 games, so not a lot to get into, but I appreciate all the support during this NFL season. We will be back next week for the NFL playoffs as well and for the Friday night player props video for Week 18. So thanks again for all the support. Hope everyone has a great Thursday, and we'll talk to you soon.